Good morning. I am Mrs. Jayalakshmi Suresh, an English teacher from O.Mohanraj Matriculation School, Vaniyambadi. Today, I am going to take the first unit is first flight prose. Before going into the lesson, let me tell you a small story. Once a sage was moving in the forest. He saw big elephants with a bigger tusker elephants, male elephants. They were tied with a small nail and they were grazing grass. He was shocked to see that because it was not tied with any kind of iron chain, nothing. Okay. Then he asked the mammoth, the elephant trainer, how a small nail is enough to hold such a big, gigantic elephants. Then the mammoth said, Sir, when it was small baby, I used to tie them in the same nail and it become it was impossible for them that time to run to take pull out that nail and run away. So it was in the same way year by year, it was nailed to the same nail, it was tied to the same nail, but they never ever tried to pull out that and run away. The sage was surprised. He thought, when such a great big elephants can root out big trees, why they couldn't do that one? Then he realized that it was what we call conditioned. That is, a elephant thought that the nail was so strong that he cannot pull it out, because when it was in small, it tried for many a time, but it couldn't do that. So it had decided in his mind, oh, I can't pull out the nail. So it was fixed in his mind, it was conditioned in his mind that it couldn't do that work. So after growing big also, it never tried to pull out that nail, root out that nail and make him free. This is what is happening in many of our life. We decide something, we come to a conclusion that it's impossible. When we tried in the beginning, maybe that was impossible to us, but later, after equipping ourselves, after gaining a lot of experience, after lot of practice, after lot of persistence, after lot of perseverance, we can try again and again. Why can't we do it? We can do it, isn't it? So never do condition yourself, never condition your brain, never condition, because once you condition, you will never come out of that one. So here is a story which tells about a young seagull who conditioned itself and how he came out of that conditioned mind. Okay, let's plunge into our beautiful lesson. Children, I know that you have textbooks, so don't wait for to look into the cell phone. Just take your textbooks outside and turn to the page number 2 is first flight unit 1 prose. Have you taken the book? Let me start. Shall I start? Okay, let me go. Okay, children, follow the lines. The young seagull was alone on his ledge. His two brothers and his sister had already flown away the day before. He had been afraid to fly with them. Somehow, when he had taken a little run forward to the brink of the ledge and attempted to flap his wings, he became afraid. The great expanse of the sea stretched down beneath, and it was such a long way down miles down. They felt certain that his wings would never support him. So he bent his head and ran away back to the little hole under the ledge where he slept at night. Seagull, it was a bird, ocean bird. It was a young seagull which was alone on the ledge. Ledge is a slope, a vertical place, a cliff, a brink ledge which is below that cliff. You can see beneath it was a great ocean. The young seagull, it had two brothers and one sister. So there are four, isn't it? So his two brothers and sisters, his sister was younger to him, and they were already flown a day before, that is one day before, previous day itself. He had been afraid to fly with them. Somehow he tried his best. He came to the brink edge of the ledge and attempted to flap, to open his wings and swing his wings to fly, but he became afraid. He thought that his wings will never support him. So he ran back again to the little hole that is in the ledge and he slept that night. Even when each of his brothers and his little sister, whose wings were far shorter than his own, ran to the brink and flapped their wings and flew away, he failed to muster up courage to take that plunge which appeared to him so desperate. So his little sister, his brothers, they went to the brink, to the edge, they flapped their wings and they flew away. But he could not muster up, he could not gather up his courage to take the plunge, jump into the air. He was so desperate. His father and mother had come around calling him slowly, which is their voice, that high pitch sound. They are calling him, come, 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 come out and jump into the air, you will fly. So, and they encouraged him in the beginning. They started to scold him. They started even to threatening to let him starve on his ledge unless he flew away. So they said, if you won't fly away, you could not get anything for food. But for the life of him, he could not move. So he was very much afraid. So he could not move. He was very much afraid. That fear in his mind, it made him to believe that his wings will never support him to fly. That was 24 hours ago. Since then, nobody had come near him. The day before, all day long, he had watched his parents flying about with his brothers and sister, perfecting them in the art of flight, teaching them how to skim the waves and how to dive for the fish. So 24 hours ago means one day before yesterday itself, they have flown away. It was alone on all day there itself. Nobody came near him. Father and mother were teaching the other brothers and sisters how to fly, how to catch the fish, how to dive, how to skim, how to jump, everything. He had, in fact, seen his older brother catch his first herring and devour it, standing on a rock while his parents circled around raising a proud cackle. So he saw his older brother was catching his first food. Herring is a kind of a fish and devouring it. That is with the juicy waters. With tasty is tasting it with his mouth full of water. Something we say devouring it, eating fast, fast, fast without leaving anything for some other. And his parents were proud that their children are diving into the ocean and catching the fish. On all the morning, the whole family had walked about on the big plateau midway down the opposite cliff, laughing at his covered eyes. So the opposite cliff, opposite to this its cliff, they were midway. They were standing on that cliff and they were laughing at his covered eyes. It's how covered this young seagull, not even listening, not even trying to fly. So they were laughing at him so that he may get anger, and at least by that he will come out of his fear. The sun was now ascending the sky. Ascending means going up in the sky, blazing warmly, that is becoming very, very warm on his ledge that faced the south. He felt the heat because he had not eaten since the previous night, so he has not eaten the yesterday night, and he was very much tired and he could not even bear the heat. Then he had found a dried piece of mackerel's tail at the far end of his ledge. Mackerel is also one kind of fish. So he saw a dry piece of that one in some far end of that ledge. Now there was not a single scrap of food left. There was not a single piece, scrap, even the small, what you call small bit of the food left on the ledge. He searched every inch, rooting among the rough, dirty, caked straw nest where he and his brother's sister had been hatched. Even he went to the dirty straw nest where his brothers and he himself was hatched. He even gnawed at the dried pieces of egg cells. From the which egg cell they came out, that also he started to eat. It was like eating a part of himself, isn't it? If you eat that egg, its egg shell means that is he is eating a part of himself. He then trotted back and forth from one end of the ledge to the other, his long grey legs stepping daintily, trying to find some means of reaching his parents without having to fly. But on each side of him, the ledge ended in a sheer hollow precipice with the sea beneath, and between him and his parents there was a deep, wide crack. He then trotted, walked from here and there, front and back, on the ledge, and he tried from all the sides to reach his parents without flying. See, how can it be possible? But he tried. Wherever he went to the edge, the edge will be ended with a sheer fall in the precipice. It will be a steep. Below that, it will be a sea beneath. So he couldn't reach his parents because there was a wide crack between him and his parents. Surely he could reach them without flying if he could only move northwards along the cliff face. If any possibility is there means he can walk towards the north face. But then, on what could he walk? There was no ledge and it was not a fly. There was no even the place to walk towards the north side from where he can reach his parents. And above him he could see nothing. The precipice was sheer and the top of it was perhaps farther away than a sea beneath him. It was so far away that the precipice he could not even walk also. It's a ocean bird. And below the sea, beneath the sea is better than that one, walking towards the north face. He stepped slowly out of the brink of the ledge. He came to the edge of the ledge and standing on its one leg, with the other leg hidden under his wing, he closed one eye, then other, pretended to falling asleep. So he was standing in one leg was hidden under his wing, and he was closed his eyes as if any other sees it looks as if he's sleeping. Still, they took no notice of him. So he tried to attract them, but nobody noticed his brothers, sisters, father, and mother. He saw his two brothers and sister lying on a plateau dozing with their heads sunk into their necks. So that head will go on into the neck. They are keeping very comfortable and they are dozing after having a good meal. They are dozing. His father was preening his feathers on his white back. So his father was cleaning his feathers by his beak. Only his mother was looking at him. She was standing on a little high hump of the plateau, her white breast thrust forward. Now and again she tore at a piece of fish. They lay at her feet and then scraped each side of her beak on the rock. The sight of the food maddened him. So one day the mother was looking at him and she was standing on the hump, a little high place on the plateau, and she was having a piece in her feet, and she was sharpening her beak on the rock so that it will become a little sharp and she can eat the fish. That the sight of the food maddened the seagull. How he loved to tear the food that way, scraping his beak now and again to wet it, to make it sharp and tear the food. He uttered a low cackle, made a low sound, that sound of seagull cackling. His mother cackled too, so even she also responded and looked at him. Ga, 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 he cried, begging her to bring him over some food. So in her language, he is telling mother, please bring me some food. Gaul, oh, oh, she screamed back mockingly. She also given some answer. But he kept calling plaintively. He becoming very tired, very sad. So he called again and again. After a minute or so, he uttered a joyful scream. Suddenly there was a scream of happiness. His mother had picked up a piece of peas and was flying across to him with it, and she was flying towards him with a piece of fish in her beak. He thought, she's coming to give him. He leaned out eagerly, tapping on the rock with his feet. So, like a small, if we get something, no, we try, we will be tapping our leg and hands, like a small children, LKG children. We have seen the when they get something, they will be so happy. They will be clapping. They will be tapping the same way. He's so happy. He's tapping his leg on his feet on his the rock, trying to get nearer to her as she flew across. But when she was just opposite to him, abreast to the ledge, she altered, her legs hanging limp, her wings motionless, the piece of fish in her beak almost within a reach of his beak. So almost there may be 1 centimeter, maybe the little gap, almost beak to beak. The fish is very near to him. She altered. They have that power. The seagull can halt. They can stand motionless without fluffing their wings. They can stand still in the air. So she was standing motionless. Her wings were motionless. She did not come forward. It was so close to him, but he could not reach the food. Okay, now what happens? We will see. He waited a moment in surprise, wonderingly why she did not come nearer. And then, maddened by anger, he dived at the fish. He was surprised why mother did not come nearer. So it was so near. So because he already was maddened, he jumped towards the fish. With a loud scream, he fell outwards and downwards into the space. When he jumped, he did not open his wings. When he jumped, isn't it? When he jumped towards the fish, towards outside, that is came out of the cliff, towards down space is moving down. Immediately his mother had swooped upward. His mother went upward. As he passed beneath her, he heard the swish of her wings. He can hear the flapping sound of his mother's wings. Then a monstrous terror seized him. His heart stood still. A great fear seized his heart, and his heart stopped for a moment. He could hear nothing, but it only lasted a moment. He could not hear anything, but it's only one moment. The next moment, he felt his wings spread outwards. The wind rushed against his breast feathers, then under his stomach, against his wings. So he saw his wings were stretched outside. They were flapping. The wind is moving against her breast, against his feathers, and his wings. He can flap his wings. He could feel the tips of wings cutting through the hair. He was not failing it long now. He was soaring gradually down, downwards and outwards. Down, he was soaring. He was flying towards the downwards and outwards. He was no longer afraid. He just felt a little dizzy, so a little confused. That's all. But he was not enough afraid. Then he flapped his wings once and soared upwards. He now went upwards. He uttered a joyous scream and flapped them again. He soared higher. He raised his breast and banged against the wind. Gah, 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 gah. Growl. Ha! His mother swooped past him, her wings making a loud noise. He answered her with another scream. Then his father flew over him screaming. Then he saw his two brothers and sisters flying around him, soaring and diving. Now everybody joined, all family. They were happy to see their brother is flying now. Then he completely forgot that he had not always been able to fly and commenced to dive and soar and shrieking silly. So he even forgotten that he could not fly. He was not able to fly. He thought of able to fly. Isn't it? He was near the sea now. He was near the sea now, flying straight over it, facing out over the ocean. He saw a vast green sea beneath him, with the little ridges moving over it. He turned his beak sideways and crowed amusedly. So he was so happy to see that he is flying in the sky. His parents and his brothers and sister had landed on the green floor in front of him. That is, they came to the ocean water that looks like a green floor, and they were landed on it. They were beckoning him, they were calling him, come, 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 you also come and land on the green floor, that is on the ocean, calling still him. He dropped his legs to stand on the green sea. His legs sank into it. He screamed with the fright and attempted to rise again, flapping his wings. When he landed on the green sea, his legs sank into the water. He was afraid. He started to flap his wings, but he was so tired and weak with hunger, he couldn't rise, exhausted by the strange exercise. Because he started flapping his wings, that's a great exercise for him. He was so tired, he couldn't do that. His feet sank into the green sea, then his belly touched it. He sank no further. So when his belly, stomach touched the water, he could not sank no, could not sank. Okay, he was floating on it, and around him, his family was screaming and praising him, and their beaks were offering him scraps of dogfish. So they were all family was happy, and they are feeding him with the dogfish. He had made his first flight.